Hello and welcome to the video book review of Frank McCourt's Teacher Man. We'll be looking at his life as well as excerpts from the book itself. Frank McCourt was born in New York City, and his family moved to Ireland when he was an infant. The author grew up poor in Ireland, but was able to attend a Catholic school where he received a general education despite his low socio-economic class. Growing up in Ireland, Frank McCourt dreamed of returning to America to seize the American dream. To realize this dream, he set out to become a teacher. After moving to America, he was drafted by the United States Army and served in Germany during the Korean War. Following his stint in the military, Frank McCourt attended college at NYU on the GI Bill. It was at NYU that the author obtained his teaching certification, and after that his first teaching job at McKee Vocational High School. McKee was a trade school that focused on churning out students directly into the blue-collar workforce, plumbers, secretaries, locksmiths, and etc. It was in his first days at McKee that Frank McCourt was also nearly fired from his first teaching job, due to a couple of incidents. The first was when a boy in class threw his bologna sandwich at another student, and it landed on the floor. As the author describes the situation, the sandwich and wax paper lay halfway out of the bag, and the aroma told me there was more to this than bologna. I picked it up and slid it from its wrapping. It was not any ordinary sandwich where meat is slapped between slices of tasteless white American bread. This bread was dark and thick, baked by an Italian mother in Brooklyn. Bread firm enough to hold slices of rich bologna, layered with slices of tomato, onions, and peppers, drizzled with olive oil, and charged with a tongue-dazzling relish. I ate the sandwich. The principal witnessed this act, and another. When talking about his childhood in Ireland, a boy in the class asked what kind of girls they dated in Ireland. The author goes on to say, "No, damn it. Sheep. We went out with sheep. What do you think we went out with?" The class explodes. They laugh, clutch their chests, nudge, elbow one another, pretend to fall out of their desks. This teacher, crazy man, talks funny, goes out with sheeps. Lock up your sheep. "Excuse me. Open your notebooks, please. We have a spelling test to cover." Hysterics. "Will sheep be on the list?" Oh, man. The smart-ass response was a mistake. There will be trouble. The goody-goody, the saint, and the critic will surely report me. "Oh, Mom, oh, Dad, oh, Mr. Principal, guess what teacher said in class today? Bad things about sheep." This also landed him in hot water with the principal. Being a new teacher, however, he was spared. While at McKee, the author felt that he was a fraud as a teacher, that he spent too much time talking about his own life and experiences than teaching the class English. Later, he would leave McKee and get his master's degree, and from there kicked around various schools in the New York area, from teaching a remedial English at a community college to teaching English in the inner city, where the students barely spoke any at all. Finally, Frank McCourt ended up at Stuyvesant High School, an elite college preparatory school, where he taught creative writing. Among his strange lessons while at Stuyvesant was the pen lesson, as the author recalls. "So, you can see how a ballpoint pen is like a sentence. It needs something to make it work. It needs action, a verb. Can you see that?" They said they could. The chairman, making notes in the back of the room, looked puzzled. At our post-observation conference, he said he could understand the connection I was making between structure of pen and structure of sentence. He wasn't sure if I had succeeded in getting that across to the kids, but still, it was imaginative and innovative. He was sure, if some of his senior English teachers tried it, they'd improve upon it. But it was a pretty nifty idea. From the pen lesson, the author goes on to the cookbook lesson. He has his students bring in cookbooks to recite the recipes in class, eventually adding musical accompaniment. The author recalls reactions from this lesson as follows. "Are the kids on to you? Playing you along with the recipes and the music? Are you, under it all, a fraud? Playing along with the way they're playing you along? You can imagine what they're saying in the teacher's lounge. The Irishman has his classes completely duped. All they do is, man, you won't believe this, all they do is read cookbooks. Yeah, forget Milton and Swift and Hawthorne and Melville. For Christ's sakes, they're reading The Joy of Cooking and Fanny Farmer and Betty Crocker and singing recipes. Jesus. You can hardly hear yourself down the hall with the din of oboes and flutes and chanted recipes coming from his goddamn room. Who does he think he's fooling?" Frank McCourt brought an improvisational style to the classroom that encouraged his students to participate in English, a subject typically thought of in terms of stuffy classrooms and dusty books, assigned readings and written assignments. The author may think of himself as a fraud when it comes to teaching, but he managed to bring life to the classroom and liven up the education of his students, who all had fond memories of their teacher man.